today.
Okay. All righty. I hope everybody's doing well today. I'm going to have everyone go ahead and jump in to my Nearpod for today for this session. If you don't want to go to join.nearpod.com, I'm also going to go ahead and put the link to the lesson in the chat for you to go ahead and join. And we'll go ahead and start in another minute or so after everyone joins. I know there's like 13 people in the meeting, and so I don't see anybody in the Nearpod just yet, but I do suggest it just so you can get notes, ideas, and kind of follow along with the activities that we're going to do today to discuss virtual snow days, which we in Maryland have not had very many snow days at all, but you know, we'll make it work. We all good.
I'm going to say that my daughter a few years back was on a soccer team, and their practice started March 13th, and the snow was so deep that they had to cancel practice. It was about 6-8 inches on the fields, March 13th. So we're not over yet.
We're not, and I really hope that we can just skip it all together. But there are other instances where you're going to need to engage students in distance learning, whether that's absences. So all of this can be super relevant regardless. It'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, as people are joining, go ahead and join in our Nearpod. It's 10 after.
And you know that, sometimes we have closings for other things other than snow days. I mean, schools lose electric. Not too long ago, the whole Seven River Bridge was closed down, and the whole Broadneck Peninsula, every school on there was closed. So this will all be good information.
Yeah, don't let the word snow days
yes
off. It'll be fine.
Hurricanes, yeah, Amy, that's true. We've been out for 4 days for hurricanes.
Flooding.
No electric, yeah.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So if you haven't joined, please go ahead and join our Nearpod for the day. We're going to be chit-chatting about engaging in virtual snow days with Nearpod tools, or hurricane days, wind days, lose electricity days, absences, all those things. So that's kind of going to be our focus for the next, few minutes that we're together. Really quickly, I'm Asia. If you've been in my sessions today, I'm so sorry, you're getting the same speech over and over. But I'm Asia, I'm your customer success manager, which means that I work with Anne Arundel County as well as other Maryland counties to implement and make the most of the Nearpod and Vocabulary platform. I'm from Maryland. I grew up in Maryland. I grew up in Calvert County. I live in St. Mary's County right now. And I have been in Maryland all my life. I love it here. So it's really cool to work with districts that are in my state. It's really cool. Sense of pride, really. And a little bit about my background. I was a teacher for 6 years. I taught lower elementary, mostly third grade. I also did teach first grade for a while. But third grade is my love. And I love third grade. I love everything about it. And I did that for 6 years, and then I moved over into a resource teacher position. So it's kind of a catch-all position, a tech teacher. I'm a model teacher. I was admin, filling all kinds of things. So I did that for 2 years, and then really wanted to just take things a little bit further. And I started working for Nearpod in the curriculum department. I worked there for a year. And so some of the things that you see in the Nearpod library, Nearpod videos I've worked on, which is really cool. And I really enjoyed it, but I wanted to have more opportunities like this, kind of talking to people, problem solving, sharing, what I know about Nearpod, and I'm kind of helping people get on board with the platform. I adore this platform, and it is really great. So I hope that you are ready to learn some cool things today. We're going to talk about some Nearpod tools that can make distance learning meaningful. Of course, answer any questions, concerns. We're going to go into my actual Nearpod account and kind of work through some of the things that you're going to see today. So if you have any questions or anything as we're going, put them in the chat, unmute. I don't mind. Yeah, and with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We have about like 11 people in the Nearpod and about 15 people in the actual meeting. So if you don't want to jump in the Nearpod, it's totally fine. But I will say, actually, let me go ahead and go back. I want you to look on the right-hand side of your Nearpod. As a student, you have the option to take notes while we're going through the lesson today. So click on that. It looks like a pen and paper. If you click on that, you'll be able to take notes throughout the entire presentation, and you'll be able to get a copy of the presentation with your notes, either directly to your email or into your Google Drive or desktop. So please take the time, go ahead and put in your email or choose if you want your notes to go to Google Drive, but you'll get the notes that you take for each slide as well as a copy of the entire presentation, which is, I think, a really cool feature. How familiar are you with Nearpod? Are you an expert? Have you launched a lesson or two, or do you have no idea what this platform even is? Totally fine. If you don't, I just kind of want to know where you are. I'm going to turn the teacher view on just so I can remind you guys what that looks like, and we're going to hide student names so nobody feels, pressured or anything like that to answer. So I can kind of see most people. It looks like you guys have launched a lesson or two. We have some people that have never launched. That's totally fine. I'm here to meet you where you are. Really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and share our results. So on your screen, you should be seeing the results of the poll. And as their information is coming in, that'll change. But it should be sharing a pie chart to kind of show you that most of us have at least launched a lesson or two, are kind of familiar with Nearpod, which is awesome to see, awesome to know. All right, snow day learning. And of course, because we, no, it's fine. Take your time. If you're having trouble with just glitching or anything, I always say refresh your page. Things tend to do weird things, especially as the day goes on. But I just wanted to know how snow days have interrupted your learning in a classroom. Doesn't have to be this year because we haven't had snow days yet. Or at all, but just in the past, I think everyone's probably experienced a snow day or a delay or just an interruption. So I just would like to know what that's looked like for you and how's that been? If you want to share your experience about just snow day learning. Yeah. It definitely can mess up an entire week's worth of lessons, which is so unfortunate. Like starting over, bring you off your complete curriculum plan. Yes, engagement can be hard. Hopefully I'll help you with that today and show you how you can get kiddos excited, even when they're not in front of you. Yes, definitely impacts planning, impacts pacing. Okay. And just a quick reminder as we're going through these activities today, these are all things that you can launch. I'm looking at this as the teacher. Of course, you as the teacher have the choice to do things like approve post. You can turn off interactions if you don't want students to interact or comment on other people's posts, but you are more than welcome to kind of respond, heart. You can like these different comments. You can write your own comment if you have a similar experience. Really great way to engage not only you all, but to students in general. Can you guys hear my dog?
Very distant in the background.
It's funny because he's not happy because I put him away for this presentation. I have a little dachshund, and if you know anything about them, they're like attitude central, and so he's letting me know that he's not happy with me. So I apologize if you can hear that at all. He's off in another room.
It's not too loud. It's, like,
Okay,
way in the
good.
distance, yeah.
All right, great. Hopefully you can ignore it if he starts up again. But yes, so just a reminder that you as a teacher have the ability, I'm not going to do this, but those little trash cans at the top of the post, if a student posts something that you're not happy with, you can remove it and ask them to try again. Again, I've hidden the names so that we can keep this anonymous and kind of, easy breezy. All right, snow days and absences will happen. We've talked about, it could be ice, it could be hurricanes, flooding, winds, bridges are shut down, electric is off. All these things are going to happen. Interruptions are going to happen, but Nearpod can help you, of course. Just easy to follow distance learning options, engaging experiences, meaningful material. I'm not a fan of busy work, never have been. It's just a waste of paper and time, in my personal opinion. So no busy work, and those individual detailed student reports, the most amazing things in the world. We're going to review those today. So just a reminder that Nearpod is here to help and can help in those situations where you might get stuck or might have an interruption. We're going to explore a few things. We're going to talk about just creating those distance learning lessons and activities. Just one click is really all you need, which is really cool. Those inclusive features to reach all students of all reading levels. We're going to go over student reports, and then I'm going to demo some things and questions and concerns, and that's pretty much going to be our time together. Okay. One-click creation of distance learning lessons. We're talking about the student-paced options that Nearpod has. So when I say one click, I really do mean one click. You can go in and you can choose student paced instead of live participation. We're going to get into how to go from live to student paced in a little bit, but just a reminder what student paced lessons can kind of offer. You can duplicate student paced lessons and differentiate based on all kinds of things. You can language level, reading level, just need. So say you have, you've got your reading groups, you've got your math groups, those individual groups that one group might need a little bit of attention while another group is often running in chapter books or something like that. You can kind of duplicate the same lesson and provide different materials and then send out those student-paced codes to students that you want to see them. So unlike a live lesson, you're not able to necessarily differentiate with a bunch of different types of lessons, but you can do that with student paced and kind of provide opportunities based on what students need. Prior knowledge, so kind of goes back to those student reports. Student choice boards are really cool. I'm going to show you a quick example of something simple that you could do. And then you can even use them for classroom and school newsletters. So that is a little bit, outside of the scope of snow days or anything like that. But I think it's a really cool communication tool to kind of use in your classroom or as a school or even as a district, if that's really where you want to go and take it. But is a great communication tool all around to have that student-paced option and allow the user, the student, the family, the other teachers to kind of work through whatever you want to present to them. So I took a quick snapshot of just what it looks like to choose student pace. So when you're in your actual Nearpod lessons and Nearpod library, instead of clicking live participation, you click on student pace, and then it'll come up with your individual student pace code and or links like I was giving you earlier at the beginning of the lesson to join. Also, throughout the presentation, I've linked different articles and things that I think are just timely or important or really good information. So as you're going through, if you want to click on some of the live links, it'll take you directly to the help desk article or article that I really wanted you to see or have. Questions about any of that before I kind of demonstrate what going from student paced and live paced will look like? Okay, Cool. So these next couple of slides are actually in a slideshow format. So I'm going to kind of walk you through. You on your screen can kind of scroll through as I'm talking, just so you can pay attention to exactly what I'm doing and show you the step-by-step guide. So maybe during your snow day or maybe your day off, you are able to meet with your students on Google Meet or Zoom, and you don't want to do just the student-paced option. You want to do a combination of live lessons on a Google Meet like we're doing now, and maybe there's certain times in the lesson where you want to provide the option of student-paced so that students can work independently away from the lesson or away from you and away from a Google Meet. So the way that that is going to work is you are going to start a live lesson like we are in now, and then you're going to choose the turn on student paced icon that's at the bottom right of your screen. If you look down here, the slides within the lesson that you really want the students to work on and have access to. Once you toggle that on, it'll give the student a pop-up saying now you can work at your own pace, and then they can work through those the slides that you have assigned them based on the range. The student view of that, you get to still monitor your students through all of this. So while they're working independently, you still get the eagle eye, you still get to see what they're doing and how they're doing it as they're working through. So you get to see, oh, I gave students maybe 2 or 3 options for showing their learning after we've kind of talked about a story. You're going to give a draw it, you're going to give a matching pair, and maybe you'll give the option of an open-ended question, and you're allowing them to choose and show their learning and show what they know that way. You still get to look and see exactly what they're doing and when they're doing it. And then if you ever want to switch back to live participation, which you actually don't have to if you don't want to, you just go back down to that icon and you turn off student pace mode. It is truly that simple and that easy. I'm going to demonstrate that a little bit. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to walk through that, those options, and I'm going to give you access to 3 slides. You have a choice between the first 2. You're going to either do a draw it, just about your highlight of your week so far, or an open-ended question. I chose those 2 options because they are, first of all, really extensive, really cool opportunities for not only you, but for your students to show their learning. You can draw in a draw it. You can add text, pictures, video, audio. There's tons of ways for students to kind of engage in a draw it. You can add backgrounds. And the same with an open-ended question you can type. All students can voice record themselves. You can voice record as well. As the teacher, you can give directions using your voice or reference media using your voice. And it is kind of like a choice board activity. So imagine just assigning a student-paced lesson and giving your students a choice board for the day. So maybe they're working on, the example I chose was college readiness. So maybe you're having a conversation, maybe you're a counselor, or you're talking about life skills or something, and you're having a conversation about college, and you want your students to just research the idea of college. What do you need to do to prepare? What are colleges looking for? You're going to give them an option of 2 student-paced lessons. And then I've also given you a couple of virtual reality college tours that I thought were really cool. And I put some directions on those pages on what to do. So now that you have the overview of what you're going to see in the next few slides, I'm going to go ahead and turn on student pace mode. So right now we're on slide 10. I'm going to give you access to slides 11, 12, and 13. And then I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to make sure that, yes, I really want to do that. And then you guys should be off and running. So you should be able to work through the next few slides on your own because student paced mode is on. And again, I'm going to show you what this teacher side looks like. I can see everybody's pages and papers. I see that everyone's waiting on answers. Some people are in progress already. I can jump to the open-ended question and see that nobody's answered yet, I can look at a participation score. And then I see my choice board here, and I'll be able to get some information in my student reports about who's completed what from this slide. So I'll let you work through a few, those 3 slides for a few minutes. And if you come across questions or are curious about something, please feel free to drop it in the chat or unmute. I'm not sure if you can see this, but I have chosen I really like this person's answer and I wanted to showcase it. So I clicked on it, and as a teacher, I can kind of show everyone, oh, look what this person wrote, look what this person did. I think this is a really cool feature as a teacher, that you can still kind of showcase work and interact with students, even though they're not physically in front of you. I'm so glad that you guys are liking the sessions. Seems like there was a lot of thought and ideas for sessions that you guys could participate in. So I really love helping and being a part of this day too. It's been really cool, really great to have conversations with you all. Oh, somebody discovered that you can put, I don't know, you say it, GIFs, I don't know, those into your Draw It. So you can see like the little animated versions of pictures. It's really cool. Awesome. Awesome. If you haven't already, make sure you get to that last slide. I really wanted you guys to see a possible completely student-paced version of what that could look like, of what a choice board could be on an absent day, absent work, maybe a student's out unfortunately in detention. Always for your students to still be engaged, still complete activities, and still kind of stay on task and kind of not mess up your pacing too much. So I thought those were all really cool. I'm going to give you a few more seconds to kind of play around. Make sure you click into the different VR options. I think they're really cool and a really great way to for students to stay engaged. And it's not just, oh, looking at pictures or looking around. There are some open-ended questions, thinking about, what colleges offer, and we kind of provide that for you as part of our Nearpod library. So I think it's a really cool option, cool feature that you could use to engage your students for sure. All right. I'm going to turn off student mode, student pace mode. So I'm going to actually bring you all back. And now as a teacher, I'm back in control. And we're moving on. Questions about that before we move on to just inclusion of students and some of the tools that we could, that you all can use in Nearpod to engage your students? If not, I'm going to keep moving. So we're going to move on to just inclusivity of all of your reading levels. And the the tools I really wanted to point out are two of them, our voice record and audio feature, but also our immersive reader feature, both of which are included in Nearpod already and just kind of have to be activated and used. So voice record and audio feature, this allows not only students, but teachers to record themselves, teachers for recording directions, but students to record themselves to show what they've learned. It can also be used as reference media to support students. So, you know, I'm sure everyone has had a perform, whether they're identified or not. There are students who are new to the country, new to the language, or just generally struggling to receive information from you, but also express themselves and get their thoughts out in just I feel like a more relaxed way. I think that students can kind of say what they mean a little bit better than typing it out sometimes. So the voice record and audio feature are all there, and we're gonna play around with those a little bit. I'm also gonna review the immersive reader feature that's included in all Nearpod subscriptions. At the very top here, you'll see this little button that is immersive reader that is there for everyone who's in Nearpod. Immersive reader is a feature that needs to be turned on. So I'll walk you through what that looks like in a moment, but it allows for language translation, grammar, visual supports for students who may need it. Those are really great features for reaching all your students. I know when you think about distance learning or snow days, you worry about those students who might not be able to access what, you know, and you're not able to give those supports in person like you were doing. But these features kind of help fill that gap, and I think are really helpful for students who might need it. Audio features, again, these are live links, so please click on these to take you to these specific help desk articles to kind of walk you through these audio features. But you can enable audio record for open-ended questions, which is really cool. So it's just a simple toggle on the button. You guys have seen this already because in our last section, we kind of went over you're able to record, you're able to type, you're able to do both if you would like to. So as long as they have access to a microphone, you are free to record yourself, and you're free to give that option to any student who you assign work to. Also, you can add audio to reference media. So this is just another level of support. You would go into an activity, select reference media. So you would add video, audio reference, and then you can either upload it or record it yourself if you would like to. So I think about you typing the directions, but also reading them out loud for students who just might want to hear them and kind of get an idea of what you want them to do. So this is an interactive video. I kind of presented on this earlier today for anybody who was in that session. And our interactive video is very cool because it is just that. It is an interactive video. It's not passive, but it is, it stops at different points in the video and allows the student to answer questions, and also gives you as the teacher a report on what those students have said and what questions they got wrong or right. You have the option of open-ended questions or a multiple choice question. You also have two options for displaying it. The teacher can play it and you can watch it on the teacher device, and then the questions will appear on the student devices, or students can play it either in self-paced mode or in a live lesson. Students can play it and then they'll answer the questions at their own pace. I trust everybody here. So we're going to go ahead and let you all as students play the video and then answer the questions at your own pace. This video is about the audio features and just gives another example activity of what you could do to engage students when they're not in front of you, when they're absent, snow day, whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and play that on your own and answer those questions. I, again, have the teacher view. I have the the video in front of me, but as a teacher, I can click on those blue dots and watch as you all start to answer those questions as you make it through the video. So I get to see exactly how you've answered and how and maybe what you need work on, seeing if you're actually paying attention to the video. You can start to see the questions are coming in. So if you take a peek at my screen, you can see what you would see as the teacher as students are answering questions and working through the video. And there is an option for you as a teacher to not allow students to skip questions. So you can make that an option that students cannot skip around the video. They can replay it, but they won't be able to skip over questions and not answer at all. So that is something that you are able to do and control as the leader of the teacher. I'm also going to look at your open-ended questions. And see your answers as they start to come in. I have a participation score at the top to see who's participated and who hasn't. Right now, about 8% of you have participated in this question and in the video. So I'm sure that number will change momentarily as you guys get through it. Yes, I love the idea of reading aloud the sections for like students who are pre-literate, students who are learning. I could think of like even for our youngest learners, so they can hear those letter sounds. So foundations and instruction, things like that, where sounds are so important to hear, but also practice with, could be a really cool idea of how to use the audio feature. You can pretty much add audio onto any slide that you would want to, and I can show you how to do that once we get to the demonstration part of our meeting today. Awesome. Yep. Your turn phonics awareness activity, absolutely. So students recording themselves, you're able to listen to the way that they're pronouncing words, letter sounds. The list goes on. Awesome. Yes, adding songs. Song is always a good idea. I love it. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward. If you haven't finished, I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and cut you off. We're going to talk about Immersive Reader a little bit. So Immersive Reader is something that needs to be enabled on your account. Very easy to do. You're just going into your profile image, go through your lesson settings, and then near your accessibility settings at the bottom, you will see Immersive Reader, and you just toggle it on. Once you have it on, you'll see this Immersive Reader button at the in the corner of every activity, just like here. I have Immersive Reader here on my screen because it's enabled. The student view of Immersive Reader. Now, Immersive Reader is extensive, so I would say you should introduce it to your students little by little because there's a lot of stuff in here, and they need to know how to kind of maneuver it. So you could click on the book icon to access Immersive Reader within the slides and most activities. And then you have a few different icons on the side. There's the text feature and font size, grammar syllables. There's line, read by line that you can adjust. You can also translate, of course, into tons of different languages. There's an extensive list of languages to translate into. There's also a picture dictionary function, text to speech, and adaptive tools like that you can change color, background font, and the size of the text itself. You can also, there's a click here for text to speech, and you can change the voice speed on that. You can also choose a female or male voice depending on what your student likes to hear or is most comfortable hearing. You can also click to adjust the rate of speed. Again, with a student view, this shows a few different things. So the line focus is here. That's what that looks like. So for those students who really just need to see one space at a time, one line at a time, that is there. This text is also translated into Spanish, specifically from Mexico. Now there's different dialects and things, and we have accounted for that. So there's different versions of Spanish within Immersive Reader, because we know that people come from different places, and Spanish is not, one size fits all, as are many languages around the world, depending on where you're from. This is also an example of our picture dictionary. So words that have a picture associated with them will have a gray box around them. You'll be able to click it to hear the word, but you'll also see a picture to kind of give an idea of what that word means. And then just ways to apply Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader does not have to stop at just ELA classroom. You can science, social studies, foreign language is even a really cool one that I've seen used. Math, calculating the rate of words per minute, counting parts of speech. There's all different ways that you can kind of use Immersive Reader in different styles of classes, different subjects, and of course meet different student needs, all while they're not in front of you. So I think this is a super powerful tool for to access and get all learners on the same page, even when they're not in front of you, and but they still have work to do. Questions before we move on to student reports? All right. Not, I'm going to jump into one of my favorites, individual student reports. Again, this is a slideshow, so I'm going to, I don't know why this is cut off, but there was a very nice picture here about like the overview. But what you can expect, you can see total participation, kind of showed you that a little bit. The ability to see all the student responses from a single lesson or a single slide, track student progress, pinpoint trouble spots, and then you can get feedback, give feedback to students based on what they have done. Breakdown of actual individual student reports. In your reports, you'll be able to click on summary, activity reports, and we're going to look at student reports specifically. This is going to break it out by student in your class. You will see student name, and then you'll be able to toggle between students or choose a specific student to drill down on. It'll give you the student name, the overall average, which is participation score, how much they have participated in Nearpod in that lesson. And then it'll give you a breakdown of the activities within that lesson that they participated in or did not. So it'll say like, yes, they participated in the poll. You click the drop-down menu and it'll show you what their response is. Same with quizzes and time declines. Those things are graded. So that will actually give you a score, 2 out of 5 correct, 40%. You can translate that into your grade book if you need to. So those options are there. And then to even break it down even further, so say you want to look at the quiz, they got 2 out of 5 correct, 2 out of 5 correct, and it's a 40%. What did they get wrong? Well, you can click on it and it'll take you directly to the quiz, and then it will show you exactly what they got wrong and what their answer choice was, so that you can then make decisions about their learning moving forward. Of course, leveraging these student reports, you can view progress. You can even view it mid-lesson if you would like to. You can guide parent-teacher conferences, build work portfolios, build your grade book, gather work samples, things of that nature. I use student reports all the time when I was in the classroom, but really a lot when I was doing intervention groups. As a resource teacher, the student reports is what I took to the table for IEPs and 504s to update progress in interventions. We happen to be on a half and half schedule, hybrid schedule, and I was in charge of virtual interventions. All of my interventions were built, I built them into Nearpod, and then was able to get those student reports and take them to the table and talk about how they were doing virtually versus in person. And now it is the fun stuff. It's demo time. We're going into my Nearpod account. It is a whole lot in here, so just be prepared. First thing I'm going to start out with is reports, just because that's what's fresh on our mind. We talked about reports. So if you want to access your student reports, you go to the left-hand side, and then the third option down is reports. From there, you're going to see all the different Nearpods that you have launched, student-paced and live lessons. So this is actually our lesson that we're in today, but these are also our lessons that were student-paced. I'm going to go to one of our sessions, my sessions from earlier, taking Nearpod video to the next level. There were 18 students in there. This is a participation activity, and that is my session from today. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to get a summary of all of my students, just an overview of total participation, and then the activities within. Activity report, I can break down by activity. So I did a poll, I did a collaborate board. I also had a video that had those individual video questions. And then I had another collaborate board, and I can look at responses there. But I'm going to go into student reports, and I'm going to break it down by person. Hopefully nobody in this group minds that I'm going to pick on them, but I can click on a student. I can see their overall participation, and I can see what they answered for every single question, which is great. So if you are, if you have that student-paced activity lesson that you're putting out, you can still get that information. You can still get the information from what that student did, even when they're not in front of you or when you're not doing a live lesson. These are the lessons from the choice board that I gave you. So there were 2 students who participated. This was a student-paced lesson. If I click into it, I'll kind of see what they did. Now, I didn't give you as much time, so no worries here. But I can get an activity report, I can get an individual student report, and then I can go back to all of my reports. Questions on that? Concerns? I'll give you guys a minute. If you want to write it in the chat, if you want to unmute, that's also fine. Okay. If not, I want to show you some more things that I think are really important to just think about as you're either preparing for snow days, preparing for absences, creating absent folders and absent activities. I'm going to go to my lessons and show you how to create a folder. You can create a folder system to share with students for missed work, for absentee work. I'm going to missed work period 1. I'm going to create that folder, and then I can pull in lessons for students, as the weeks go on. So if if you've missed work from Friday, you go into the folder, and that, that student-paced lesson is there, that activity is there for you to work through. In addition, we talked about that one-click version of creating a student-paced lesson. This is the lesson that we are currently in. If I did a live participation, but if I wanted to be student-paced, it'll give me its own code to send out to students. And it will also tell you how long it is valid. Student-paced lessons are usually open and valid for 365 days unless you change it. In here, you can change the date range. So maybe you want to make this open all the way to June. You can apply those changes, and now it's available for 120 days. And it'll tell you how much is remaining, and it will do the countdown for students to let them know, hey, you have 90 days, you have 30 days left to complete this work. You could do it for makeup work at the end of the quarter, depending on how that works for you. And you can also quickly share this by copying a link, emailing it out, embedding it. If you have Google Classroom, Remind, and again, a great way to share out newsletters for parents, or Microsoft Teams. And then you have those options. You can require student responses and prevent skipping by just clicking that. And it turns on, and then students can't skip around. They have to go through every single slide and activity in your lesson. Some other things I wanted to just quickly show you guys. If you don't have any questions, I'm just going to keep going. In our Nearpod library, I like to point out our publishers. I know that we offer a lot, but I think when it comes down to snow days and absences, what's going to be best and easy for you as the teacher, as the lead, is to pull some of that stuff that we've already created for you. Those videos, those interactive videos that we've created for you, those timely lessons that are featured. So it's Women's History Month now. So we have a Women's History Month section that already have lessons linked and ready to go. Current events, all kinds of things. And of course, we have our VR down here. You guys kind of got a taste of what that was like. But I want to point out our publishers, because we work with so many content publishers. And if they're not on here, then I'm sure we're working with them. So ABC Mouse, BBC, there's so many different, Freckle, iCivics, McGraw-Hill. We work with pretty much everybody. Newsela, Sesame Street, even TED Talks. Everybody, the Smithsonian is here. All of these lessons and activities are already linked and ready to go for you. So you could click on Newsela, choose your grade band, and then preview all the lessons that are all ready to go. You can add them to your library, and then they're ready to go, and you can share it out as student-paced. You can also edit them and take out what you need, make your own slides in there, and share those out at any time at a quick notice. And I do want to share subplans. I know that sounds like weird because we've been talking about students being out and away from you, but there are times that you're human and you will need to be out. So another thing to kind of take advantage of within Nearpod is our subplan system. You, right underneath your reports, there's a subplan tab. The way that you create a subplan, you go in, you date it or write a title for sick day. Maybe these are emergency plans. Sick day 2. Okay. And you can go in, you add lessons, and you can search through your lessons. Maybe I want to do multiplication, draw it, and this and this. I can add all 4 activities and lessons to one class, 2 classes, 3 classes, depending on how many you have. And then they all pop up in my subplans, ready to go. Then you click on sub dashboard and you see, okay, I've got my plans up here, and then you can send the sub plan. This is the beautiful part. You get to put in your absences. So maybe you're going to be out the 9th through the 16th. That's a long time to be out, but still. If you don't know your sub, that's fine. You can put in your admin, whoever's in charge. If you do know your sub, you can put in their name, their email, their phone number, and then your phone number so that you can get a notification of when they receive it. You can also put in your classroom information, class notes, emergency procedures. You can upload files here. So maybe you have your class lists or your need to knows there. You can also put in school information and put that there for the sub. You can save it and send it. send sub plan, it'll send it to wherever you decide. I'm going to send it to myself. So maybe I'm the sub for this class, and send it out, and it will be sent directly to the sub or whoever's email you put in there. So if it's your admin who's in charge, that's also a thing. And then you can always view the sub plan to see if you want to edit it or change it. And then, of course, you get your student reports after your sub plan or your sub has launched your lessons. So you will get information on what your kids did that day. I know it is 1:58. I know we have until 2:05, I believe. But I wanted to open it up for questions. If there's something that you want to see, something that you are concerned about, have questions about, I would love to answer those questions for you. If not, then I do have one more collaborate board. Just how could you use Nearpod to engage students during snow days or absences? So that could be anything that we talked about. How can you use some of the tools that we kind of discussed today to make sure that your time with your students in front of them or not is engaging and meaningful? Also, I know that Stephanie's dropped the attendance link, so please make sure that you fill that out so that you all get your credit and everyone knows that you were here. Yep. Virtual field trips are one of my favorite things, and our interactive videos is really cool. Yes. Awesome. I love it. 100%. We have already, trust me when I say I've worked in my content department, the work that's put in to making sure those lessons are top tier and meaningful is extensive. It's an extensive process. So yeah, use what is there because we really do try to do the work for you. Of course, preview it because it's not one size fits all, but I love the idea of using what's there, plug and play, get it done, get it going, and at the same time make it meaningful and make it great. Yep. Students can still attend, students can still be in the know without being too far left behind. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I have one more slide for you, and that just is in just a quick overview slide. A couple things. First of all, I work with Stephanie and Carrie pretty much every month to kind of give you guys the latest updates, things that are coming down the pike, things that are changing for everyone and changing for the platform. We're trying to make this experience better, and we're always trying to grow our platform and taking your suggestions. Anne Arundel County has a Nearpod support page that is really specifically curated for you all with updates, need to knows, our help desk, everything under the sun. So please, please, please click that link and it takes you to the support page that's created for you all. I've also linked a couple of things about distance learning, making it easy, connecting with parents and using Nearpod, and then action steps for addressing learning loss. I'd be remiss to say that the pandemic has not done a number on students and education in general. So I added just some resources about, addressing learning loss and using Nearpod to kind of do that. How do you link a Nearpod to another pod in the choice board? Another Nearpod. Oh, sure. I can show you how to do that. Yeah, I can show you really quick. And then I put my email address if you ever have questions or anything like that. So the way that I do this, and I know that Stephanie, we talked about using slides, right? Using slides to kind of to create Nearpod. So that's actually what I did. I like working in Google Slides and then transferring this information to Nearpod using the extension. So I just go up to the extension and open Nearpod and edit my lesson. I don't want to edit this slide, but I want a blank slide. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate this slide and then I'll show you what I do. So I want to add in a link here. You can do this a couple of ways. You can go down, you can do like BBC video, you can do all the different things here. If you scroll down, you can do web content or video, either one. Um, if you have a lesson that you already like and you have a student pace lesson link for it, you can put it in here and it will link to this slide. If you want to do a video, it'll take you to the video library. These video lessons already have questions linked into them for you, which is really convenient and cool. So maybe you're presenting on the judicial branch. These blue dots are already questions that we've put in there for you as a content team, but you can always add an activity at any point, add your question and save it and add it to your video. And then once you save it, it'll this will show up in your lesson for you. But if you create a blank slide, the way that I did the one that you see, I'll bring this over. These are my slides for today. The way I created that choice board for oh, this is a choice board I did earlier. I just took a screenshot and then I put the lesson code in the blank slide. That was it. So I literally just took a screenshot of this lesson cover, clicked link, and then put the lesson link in. Also included the pod for it, and then you to the lesson like that. And it will prompt your student to log in, and it's a student-paced lesson that they work through. Did that answer your question, Ms. Bonnie? Awesome. Wonderful. So there's a couple of different ways to do it, but yes. Yes, we do have some pre-K content. We're working on pre-K content. I put in a request not too long ago for pre-K content because I feel like there's some very basic things in Nearpod, like how to use Draw It, how to use drag and drop that pre-K could benefit from. So I did request pre-K content, but yes, whatever you find, share. Thank you guys so much. I know we're right at time. So feel free to email me, ask questions. Stephanie knows where to find me. So if you need me, let me know. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Asia. That was great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.